Did you know that Square Enix's Luminous Engine first started development in 2011? That's 9 years ago. What was first established as a tool that the company could use as a staple in all their first-party games, and was even planned to be licensed out for third-party companies, has had a staggering one game coded for it in all of that time, Final Fantasy XV, and we all know how turbulent the development of that game was. But it's not all that the Luminous Engine has brought us. In 2012 we had Agni's Philosophy, a tech demo designed by the Visual Works division, the arm of Square Enix that is usually responsible for pre-rendered CGI, alongside Square's R&D team. It took them 6 months to make. Using a single Nvidia GTX 680 graphics card with 16GB of RAM, it pushed 10 million polygons per scene, including 300,000 to 400,000 polygons per character. It also used 1.8GB texture data per scene. Of course, just like the recent Unreal Engine tech demo, this kind of intensive graphical fidelity is not likely to be utilised in any actual game. Later in 2015, Agni made a return in another tech demo, Witch Chapter 0, using 4 Nvidia Titan X graphics cards to render up to 63 million polygons per scene. This time there was hope, from me at least, that the stunning demo was actually in the works as a game. You remember games, right, Square Enix? But no, Witch Chapter 0 was just another time Square Enix asked us to be excited about their amazing new tech that would shine in the upcoming Final Fantasy XV. Even some of the showings of the game were more along the lines of a tech demo. Remember when they showed off the model of the frog in the rain? It looked so detailed and cool. It got me excited. Then FF15 was finally here. It was blurry, muddy, aliased, characters clipped through scenery and enemies, and had intensely awkward, drawn-out, over-the-top animations. It was clear to see that this engine was not what it was presented to be, and it would not solve Square Enix's problems. In the aftermath of Final Fantasy XV, Square Enix quickly halted development of games on the Luminous Engine, of which 2 were planned that we know of, Kingdom Hearts 3 and Final Fantasy VII Remake. Tetsuya Nomura stated of the change, "It wasn't something that we had anything to do with, it was decided higher up. It was a whole year that we kind of had to rewind and restart. As a dev tool, Unreal Engine 4 is kind of an all-in-one. It's got all of the stuff that is needed in it." Oh, you mean like how the Luminous Engine was described to fans in all of the tech demos that Square had been showing off until now? As a versatile all-in-one engine that would facilitate greater creativity from the development teams. The company now had so little faith in the Luminous Engine that they basically started Kingdom Hearts 3 from scratch on Unreal, and in 2017 released a rather clunky prototype of what we could expect from that in Kingdom Hearts 0.8, A Fragmentary Passage. But once they found their feet, Square Enix actually had a bit of success with Unreal Engine. Kingdom Hearts 3 ironed out the kinks and looked and ran buttery smooth. Dragon Quest XI used the engine and was considered by many to be the best in the series. They were wrong, but okay. Then, most recently, Final Fantasy VII Remake has met with frothing at the mouth praise from most, with only a few low-res textures to pick at on the technical side. It is clear that in using Unreal Engine, Square Enix was able to quickly and easily turn the rather dire and embarrassing situation with the Luminous Engine back around, if only a little, and perhaps start recuperating on all that money and time down the drain with tech demos, Final Fantasy XV's 10-year development hell, and announcements of announcements of announcements. But then, a new console generation arrived, and Square Enix had nothing to announce. NANI? What could Square Enix possibly announce? They couldn't not announce something. How would people be excited? Please be excited. And they didn't want to pay the Unreal Engine license fee again for something that they hadn't even conceived of yet. Then they remembered they had an engine of their own, an engine that they had all but scrapped that caused years of turmoil for the developers of Final Fantasy XV, to the point that it remains an unfinished product to this day. One thing they did know though, they could cobble together a bit of pre-rendered footage, slap some cryptic text over it, and hamstring the working parts of Final Fantasy XV to make a 50-second trailer showing basically nothing at all. And so Project Athia was born, and Luminous Productions was suddenly a thing. We are developing AAA and new franchise consumer and smartphone games using our internally developed Luminous Engine, taking on the challenge of defining the cutting edge of game development. Our vision is to create games unlike anything experienced before, fusing the world's latest technologies with art. Please be excited. A long-running problem with Square Enix is that they always need to give off the appearance that they're doing something, whatever that might be, constantly announcing things well before the appropriate time, making the same announcements over and over again, even announcing that they will be announcing something. I think that this is what led to Project Athia, not any desire to make a great groundbreaking game that will blow fans away. Honestly, compare this trailer to any other showing on the PS5 showcase, and you will see that this is laughable. Not even as intriguing as Agni's philosophy. The tiny glimpses of gameplay we saw, such as the magical thorn attack enveloping a monster, look suspiciously like they could have been directly lifted from Final Fantasy XV. The rest show simple, linear platforming where the character is magnetised to spots of geometry. What we're actually shown are such brief glimpses of all of this that it's hard to tell anything really, except for the fact that this is clearly an extremely early prototype when compared to most other game trailers we've seen here. Remember when Kojima Productions set out to create the Fox engine? It was a resounding success, and Metal Gear Solid 5 ran flawlessly with visuals of unprecedented quality on all platforms. It took them around 3 or 4 years to achieve such excellence. For Death Stranding, Kojima later decided to use the equally groundbreaking Decima engine, which has made huge strides in how models and textures can load in-game. Also using Decima, Horizon Forbidden West, a game that will probably set a new bar for PlayStation, as Zero Dawn did before it, was announced alongside Project Athia. When Square Enix had been struggling away with the Luminous Engine since 2011, had grand plans which failed, scrapped years of development because the engine would not easily allow the team to fulfill their vision, and to this day have only one barely finished game to show for it. My question to you is, do you really think that Square Enix and the Luminous Engine can deliver a game that lives up to the potential of the PS5, the next generation of consoles? Judging by this laughable trailer, I think not. I've been Jake of the Retro Perspective, thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.